and welcome to the second season of the On the Spot movie reviews. We took a year hiatus and now we're back, and today we're going to be reviewing The Avengers. It won't be as simple as just us showing up and watching the movie. We actually will be there from 11:30 a.m. till the premiere tonight at 12 midnight. We will be reviewing what will probably be the biggest film of the summer.
I'm actually very excited to go do this. I've never done anything where I've done a whole movie marathon before, and especially in this kind of series where there's been little Easter eggs and little things in the movies themselves that are going to hopefully take place in Avengers. I think it'll be nice to sort of put the whole puzzle together. And so I'm very, very excited. I don't know if I can sit for that long. I'm a little worried about that. But other than that, I'm excited for the whole experience.
The Avengers movie is actually the combination of all of the Marvel superhero characters that have appeared in the movies. A brief little interchange between Samuel Jackson and Robert Downey Jr. that most people missed. It was way at the end of the credits. As a comic book fan, the most exciting moment, Sam Jackson as Nick Fury says, "Have you ever heard of the Avengers Initiative?" So right from that moment, we were off and running, and the Hulk even continued that thread in that same summer of 2008. Then Iron Man 2 was released. It basically was a trailer for Avengers. Then we got Thor, which actually is going to be very important to this movie because of the villain, and Captain America, which is almost like the crux of the film, the person who we follow. So I can't wait to see what they do with Avengers. This is the biggest thing any film company has ever done.
Yeah, the Hulk has had a little bumpy road, I think, to the Avengers. Out of all of them, he's been the least connected to that whole universe. He's had 2 different reboots, and now we're getting a third Hulk. So he's the one character that's sort of not been consistent. Mark Ruffalo is going to play it very different from Edward Norton, because Edward Norton's a very different actor than both those other 2 actors.
Yeah.
Well, they're all different from each other, so.
The story is kind of guarded. All we know is that all these characters are going to assemble. There's currently, in the Avengers in the comic books, Spider-Man is part of the Avengers, Wolverine is part of the Avengers. Classic team has always been Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, who's kind of the leader. And the Hulk, he was part of the Avengers, but from what I remember from reading the very, very early issues, he was an Avenger for maybe a couple of issues. But he was a little too unstable, which makes sense. It seems like it's based more on the new line of comics called the Ultimates. I always remember, I think it was the 3rd issue, they were casting themselves in a movie. And that is the first time anyone ever drew Nick Fury as Sam Jackson. This is way before Iron Man. Samuel Jackson should play me, but is that Nick Fury character. That cemented who was going to be Nick Fury. Everything now hinged on him.
I'm very happy that Mark Ruffalo is going to be in the part, because I think that he's got the whole package as far as the Hulk character goes. When you see him get angry in a movie, I can see him almost transform into a Hulk.
For me, one of the 2 movies that I've been anxiously waiting for, this and Dark Knight Rises are the 2 movies I'm very excited about. So, Avengers, we're going to go sit and watch them assemble.
Well, it is 16 and a half hours later, and we finally finished our marathon. 6 movies from beginning to end. Iron Man, the Hulk, and then Iron Man 2, and then Thor, and then Captain America, and then finally the Avengers. And the Avengers was awesome, and the time flew by, which is a testament to how great the movies were. And I want to see another one where they're not trying to build team and working through and struggling with becoming the team, which is like any origin story, I think. And it was really good, and the characters were well done. They didn't really develop Hawkeye at all, so he was important to the plot, but he was the only one that I think that they didn't spend any time on at all. And I think everybody else they dealt with really, really well. And I want to have a movie with Black Widow as the star, because she seems awesome. Yeah, and I'd love to see Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk in a movie, because he was really good in this. I really like him as an actor, and I really think that he played it perfectly. And I like the interaction between him and Iron Man when they were trying to figure stuff out. I think it worked really, really well.
From Iron Man all the way down to Hulk, that was... Because I always remember when I saw the Hulk, there were a lot of things in there that was going to be important to the whole Avengers thing, just like Captain America. the whole day kind of flew by with all the movies. Like, they were just kind of coming and going, and I really wasn't feeling it. And once Avengers started, the weird thing that happened for me in the beginning of Avengers was couldn't get settled. Like all of the other movies, when they started it maybe because they were all introductions, Avengers started pretty hard, pretty fast, and I wasn't, even though we'd been sitting there all that time, I don't know, it took me about 15 minutes for everything to kind of gel and start clicking. I was really worried because I was saying to myself, no, this can't be how I'm feeling for this movie because, everything that I've seen, all the movies I've seen up until this, I haven't felt like this. So I just think it was like, it was a little bit of a growing pain for like the first 10 or 15 minutes. But then once that movie got started, that had to be one of the most amazing superhero films alongside Dark Knight that I've ever seen. But this one was so close to reading a comic and reading how all these superheroes kind of interact together. I think anyone can go in there without having seen the other films, but you are going to be very confused about things, especially if anyone decided to skip Thor. Thor is a very important movie to watch before seeing this movie. There's a lot of important plot points in that movie, and there's a lot of characters in that movie, and there's a lot of references in this movie to Thor, more than probably any of the other movies, ironically. Tony Stark and Gwyneth Paltrow, Pepper Potts' interchange a little bit didn't seem as comfortable as it has in the other movies, and it's probably just because this isn't their movie. So it felt a little weird at first. So at first their relationship seemed a little odd, and then as we went along, I felt Tony kind of got back into the swing of things. What's his name? Chris Evans still continues to surprise me because it was somebody I never would have expected to be perfect choice for Captain America. Now I can't even imagine anybody else. Mark Ruffalo, I was happy with him. I was a little worried about how his portrayal was going to be, but I did like that he kept the nerdy aspect because he kind of presents himself as not nerdy in other films, so I didn't know if he could pull that off, and I thought he did a really good job. Jeremy Renner was born to play Hawkeye. I know his character really, for the first half of the movie, I mean, he was in the movie, but his character really wasn't in the movie, and you'll have to see that to know what that means. I do like the relationship that they established, and it's not a romantic one, between Hawkeye and Black Widow. Black Widow was a great character as well. They really developed her, because in Iron Man I was a little worried about her. Iron Man 2, she was really a background character, and I know she has such a rich history, and they hint at it in this movie. I think that they tried to give everybody as much information and put little seeds in for the future. In terms of just this film as a whole, all the way down to Samuel Jackson, Colby Smulders as Martha Hill, and Agent Coulson, I mean, everybody was great. And obviously the guy who plays Loki, Tom Middleton, fantastic in this movie again. He was great in the Hulk, and I mean, he was great in Thor, and he just brought it to a new level in this movie. Joss Whedon, the most brilliant thing about him has always been his ability to inject humor in odd places where serious things are happening, and that's what he does best, I always think. And he always handles groups best. And a lot of his writing, the way that he handles conflict and the way that he handles resolutions, they're not always what you expect them to be, and I think that's what his strength is. So he did a fantastic job on Avengers. I just hope that he continues on. It actually is nice that somebody who really understands the material and understands all the characters was involved in this movie. So I'm very happy with what I saw today. I'm excited to see it again.
The scene between Pepper and Tony in the beginning was a little awkward, I thought. And I thought that it was a very odd costume choice to have her walk around when in all the other movies she's been in like stiletto heels, almost like that's like part of her character, to like be walking barefoot in jean shorts. I thought was a very odd choice. And then I did think that the only scene that I lost focus in was when they were all fighting in the room there, and it just seemed to go on for so long. Like in the beginning it was funny, and then like it just kept going, and I think that scene needed to be edited and it needed to be shorter, because that's the only time where I'm like, when are they gonna stop? It's the only time I got bored.
Yeah, although I do think the reason for that scene, though, I think was to make us feel uncomfortable because of what was happening in that sequence. Because I remember when I'd see clips of that scene, I always thought, why are they talking to each other like that? And it made more sense as I was watching the movie. So I think I think it was purposely trying to make us a little uneasy. You know?
Well, it might have been trying to do that, but I think that I got that, and from the shots explaining why they were doing it to certain other objects, like I think that I got it.
That was Avengers, and we loved it, and the whole Marvel thing was fantastic, so definitely recommend go see it. And this is it for this episode of On the Spot Movie Reviews, and we will see you next time.